And we are live. So woo woo, as is tradition on the few things that are on this channel. If anyone's ever watched me and Nick just talk Power Rangers for whatever, there is no order to things. It is complete chaos. But my wonderful friend and I will say, like, one of the biggest I feel like just like really bright spots in comics this year. Damon, you have been a wonderful bright spot for me in comics. And so thank you so much for jumping on here and doing this with me.
Well, that means a lot. Thank you. I am always down just to talk all the things, no matter what it is.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful thing to see Janelle like in the time that won't since we started the show and now how it's awesome when I get things in Slack and she's like, oh my God, you're gonna send that to me, right? I know we're not talking about it, but like you're gonna send that to me. And I was like, yes, it's wonderful. And I see all the things you're doing on TikTok and on Agents of Fandom, and it's just it's awesome. Anytime the what's the word? I don't want to say gospel, but we'll say it. Gospel of comics can be spread. I think it's awesome. So, and by the way, awesome work on the Kelly Thompson.
Oh, thank you. It was an absolute blast. Like I said to a bunch, like all our friends, like when I started interviewing some people for comics with Agents of Fandom and Comic Corner, I was like, man, my dream's to get Kelly Thompson on. There's no way. I feel like I'm a long way away from that. And then she put out one on Twitter, like, ask me anything. And I was just like, you know what? Screw it. Shoot my shot. And she's like, absolutely, shoot me an email. And I was like, what? It's like, well, she won't actually email me back. There's no way. She'll forget about me. And then she emailed me back, and we were able to talk about her book Black Cloak, which is great. And it's Jeff and everything she's done.
Yeah. I have Black Cloak sitting on my drive to read. I need to it is on my list. It's on my list. There's so many. It's been actually a great year in comics. There's been so many like huge things. A lot of them, if I had at the beginning of the year, if I had seen those like solicitations or whatever and thought like, oh, it's going to be I don't know how it'll be this year. It might not be, like the biggest year. And then I turn around to look, and even halfway through, I was like, oh my God, like best of lists are hard this year. And also don't get me started on, I am a little there. I don't have our golden issues. Has Comic Books Golden Issues revealed the winners yet for comics? If not, I'm not going to talk about it. But I did see one, and I was like, how dare that not win? I was very upset. I was very upset. So yeah, but it's been an awesome year. So this stream for those joining. By the way, thank you so much to everybody jumping in. Brandon, Emma, Ryan, really appreciate you guys. You've been so as weird as Twitter is right now, and like as like, oh my God, are we like abandoning ship? And it feels like the Titanic in so many ways. Twitter has like been where I have developed so many just like really great relationships. In fact, like this stream is a perfect example of that. All of that came from just community and interacting with people who love stuff you love on Twitter in a lot of ways. So yeah, it's like, before Elon like burns it down, it was awesome. It was awesome.
While it lasted.
Yeah, so good. I loved it.
Well, we all met through the Phase Zero chat, and eventually got a lot of people to watch Comic Book Nation as well. There's a group of 10 of us now, and we're just constant good friends, and we have a good majority of us. We're going to Disneyland in February. We're going the week where Quantumania is coming out. Intentionally picked that week so we can all go see Quantumania together.
That's amazing.
Isn't it great?
Oh my God, that's so cool. I did not know that. So wait, so you're going to Disneyland, Disney World?
Disneyland, California.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Can't wait. Gonna see some of my new favorite people who have just become very good friends with over throughout the year. We do Zoom chats, Zoom parties, watch parties whenever a Marvel movie comes out.
I have seen some of those pop up on Twitter. I see the screenshots pop up, and I'm always like, man, I'm kind of jealous. That looks like super fun. What am I doing right now? Oh yeah, I'm working. I'm watching something, I'm typically like getting through a movie that Kofi has assigned, or like something. It's like, oh, that should be. I need to be working. But that looks awesome. That looks so fun. What are we doing over there? So yeah. So for this stream, there isn't really a super big structure, but we are going to go over like. For CB Nation, we did, best comics, best movies, and best TV. But like, even outside of that, I mean, I've actually been blessed to get to know a lot of the group in our Watch Wrestling community, which is awesome because like that's as close to replicating that feeling of going to someone's house and watching like a pay-per-view. But I get it like twice a week because I typically get it with NXT. Every so often, I'll dip in on Raw. But I typically watch Raw like after the fact, and then SmackDown. And seriously, it's been nice because Nick Valdez, who used to be my Friday night SmackDown buddy, his shifts got switched. So like now it's just like me in our Slack, just sending comments to myself. Like it's just like me talking to myself. So I'm always just like, it's weird self-commentary of like, oh my God, that was awesome. And it's like no one else in there.
I mean, that's kind of how Twitter works sometimes when you're just like throwing a tweet out there like, wow. And you're like, maybe somebody knows what I'm talking. Literally, the amount of times where I'm watching maybe like a soccer game or Raw or something, I just go, wow. And hopefully maybe somebody knows what I'm wowing in that exact moment in time. If I go through like some of my old tweets, I would probably be like, what was I reacting to right here?
Yeah, no, I understand. And it is also seeing mentions of unhinged game nights. Which
very unhinged game nights.
Which sound awesome.
Jackbox Quiplash, very unhinged. It's classic. If you really just want to get everyone to merge together, that does it.
That's like I think one of the most entertaining streams I ever jumped onto. And one of the reasons I actually got into like watching people, because like for a minute I was one of those that was like, why am I going to watch people play stuff? I could just be playing stuff. Like I was very much that like at the beginning, right? And then reaction videos actually got me in the stuff. Like watching, I ended up getting into reaction videos like super hard for a minute, and then I was like, well, let me venture over here. And then I started watching people play games, and it was awesome. But like the party, for those who don't know, is like Xavier Woods, the formerly Cesaro, now Claudio Castagnoli, and then Adam Cole and Breeze. Oh my God, Tyler Breeze. When they would do all their Uno parties and just like sit there for like an hour and they would play Uno. And like I remember that, like I had that. I used to have a group of friends that we would get on Xbox once a week, and we would do it on Friday nights, and we would either play Gears of War, and then sometimes we would play Uno if we couldn't get like everybody into the group. And those were like some of the most fun experiences. And I've never, like, you don't think of Uno being that game that's gonna like bring the worst out of everybody, but like it super does.
Oh man, it absolutely does. I mean, we play. They have like essentially an Uno version in like the Apple iPhone games that you can play with each other. You're just the worst person in there because you're only looking out for yourself. You have no remorse for the people around you.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I play Halo. By the way, if anyone ever plays Halo with me, if anyone ever plays Halo with me, I'm terrible. I'm a terrible teammate. I will knock you off of high things because it makes me laugh. I will, if I get a hold of a Warthog, it is the worst thing for the team because I drive it everywhere. I drive upstairs and by our team, and it's not malicious, but I just am having such a good time that I almost like run over people. It's very bad. No one wants to play Halo with me. It's a terrible thing. So if I ever invite you to play Halo, you can feel free to reject it. I won't take it personally, especially now that I put it out there. So in the world of since we're on gaming, and that's actually something we haven't really had a chance to talk about on the show because this was a big year for gaming. What like stuck out to you as like if you had like
the Avengers? I'm kidding.
Yes, Pokemon,
it did. You and I were both very strong proponents of the game. I'm very disappointed that's possibly coming to a close next year, but I'm a big Pokemon fan. I love Pokemon.
I didn't know.
Pokemon is one of my favorite franchises out there. I've been a Pokemon fan ever since I was like 7 years old. I was very much looking forward to Scarlet and Violet. It does have performance issues, but the game that shocked me was Pokemon Legends. because that's the game everyone keeps saying when you look back and you're like, what's the game that's really going to change the formula? Because it's been the quote unquote, as it says, copy paste game ever since Gen 1. And this year they came out with Legends, and it was phenomenal. And it did the things in a game that I've wanted them to do. You're able to, it's essentially, it was like open world to the point where like Monster Hunter is open world, where it's like you unlock areas and you're in an area, very big area, and you can just go around, you just catch things. You don't have to go into a battle. You can go into a battle to catch it, but you can just literally throw your ball out and snipe it if you want to. Go, and the Pokemon around you are like dangerous. They attack you. When you're in a battle, you can get hurt. It's like, it's stuff like that where I'm like, man, this is the game I've been waiting for. And it really lived up to it.
Have you jumped into the new one or no?
Yeah. So I like Scarlet and Violet. It's good. It made some changes from Arceus that I really liked. It didn't do all of them, but it does have performance issues where the frame rate is an issue. The glitches are an issue. But overall, it's a very fun game, and it's the best storytelling Pokemon has ever done.
It's so funny about Pokemon because like I come in and out of the franchise a lot. Like I'll get really into it for a minute, and not even just like jump. Like it's the hype or the buzz about certain things, and so I'll start watching people play, and I'll start like reading some things, but I never fully jump in. Like I never go like, yeah, I need to go buy the game now. Like I'm always just like right on the fringe because I always feel like I never know where like a clean spot to really just dive in. And for me, it's more about, I more want to jump into the card game and less the video game side. Right. So like I never feel like and they've done a good job in like the last couple of years of like almost getting me. Like they put together a set that was at GameStop's this like last Christmas, and it was like a special box or whatever, and it was just like everything you need right here. And I was like, I was like, should I? I don't know. And every year I make there's something that gets in the way. I don't know. One of these years I need to just jump in because like that part of it seems really fun. I love card games just in general, and I'm a huge fan of tabletop. So, I don't need another Vice, but that does seem fun. What was was there something else this year for you?
Oh man, I was trying to think about anything else. What was that cat game? Stray. Stray was pretty fun. Stray was a surprise game, but also not so much a surprise game because when they announced that game years ago, I was like, oh, a game where you get to be a cat. That sounds amazing. And you do cat things like scratch up the carpet for no reason. Amazing. And had a great little story to it too.
That's still on my list. Almost anything from Annapurna is on my to-do list. I have a backlog this year, but yeah, it does look awesome. And pretty much I'm with you. It had me at Cat and Robots. It was like adorable little cat with a backpack. Because he has a backpack, right? I have a little backpack or something. And then there was robots, and I was like, yeah, you pretty much got me.
The Marvel, what was it that just came out? Midnight Suns. Midnight Suns has also been pretty fun.
Yeah, how far are you into that?
I am only a few hours in.
Okay.
The thing I like about I enjoy like what was the most recent Fire Emblem that came out? 3 Houses. Really like that. And it has like that similar kind of like the character driven story vibes, but then there's also the actual battle mechanic vibes, and they're very separate. So it's very much like it feels like Fire Emblem in that way. And I've really enjoyed that. So I can see how there may be some people who that's not their thing. They only care about the battle mechanic, the whatever it is. They don't care about this character driven story stuff. But I love both of that. And the funny thing is, there's characters in there that I could tell they just threw in there. Like, why is Iron Man in a Midnight Suns game? Why is Captain Marvel in a Midnight Suns game? And there's even a couple points where they're just like, Tony, why are you here? And I'm like, yeah, why are you here? Because like the parts that work, but the parts that work, and they work so well. Or it's like when you have like Nico and she's talking about the Runaways and how it connects with magic, and then Blade steps in, and you're like, yes, this is the element right here that really works as a story. and then Captain Marvel comes in, and you're like, man, you just threw off the vibes.
It's one, I'm actually really enjoying that game. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel because I'm actually a really big XCOM fan. So when it was first announced, and your first assumption is, oh, they're doing XCOM Marvel, I'm down. I'm 100% down. I'm one that I used to name all of my soldiers Marvel characters anyway, and then they would die, and then I'd have to go through. Like, I got to the point where I was just like using D level people because like all my A people were dead. But like, though to be fair, I'm also that guy that like in Age of Empires or Civ, when you can like name cities and towns, I would name them all like various record labels in the hip hop world. So like I had an Aftermath city, and then like I had a Death Row city, and then I had a Bad Boy city, and I had like that's me. So very much I'm a huge nerd. So in Midnight Suns, when then they started talking about like the card based combat and like how it's a little different, it's not as tactical, I was like, oh, okay, I don't know. But that thing is super fun. Like it's like blazing fast, like and I just love that. I actually love like even between rounds, so like when they bring more enemies in, it's so super quick, like it just keeps you in the middle of it. And I like the card combat and being able to kind of interact with the world as well, just a little bit. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. It does feel like there's like 3 characters, and it's Iron Man, Captain Marvel, and then there's one more.
Honestly, even Doctor Strange feels out of place. He's a little funnier than he should. Like, there's some characters I'm like, you're too funny. Steven, you should not be this funny right now. You're not like, why are you cracking jokes here?
Yeah, they feel like they're in a different game. Yeah. But at the same time, I do like just, like I understand why they're there. I get it. You need some marquee people. I get it. You need some people.
Spider-Man's there too.
Yeah, shove them in there. I get it. Like you need, and as someone who loves Bendis's new Avengers run and his Avengers, where like he put all those people together, like I'm cool with it, right? I'm fine. But it does feel the way. I do get that. I just love that Magic like gets so much shine. I love that Nico gets shine. Blade is actually really well done. And I heard some people say like there wasn't story in that game, and I'm like, what game were you playing? Like, I don't know. That feels
I guess some weird. Stories are optional because you have to like go do side stuff and you talk to them. And if you skip everything when it comes to like backstories of characters, and like you don't get that element. But I like to like go in and read that or listen to them talk because I'm like, all right, how much like what kind of twist are you taking in their story? Because it's never going to be a 1-for-1 type of thing. And same thing with like Wanda has a little bit of a different backstory in this than she does in like a comic or the movie or whatever. So I'm like, okay, let's see where we're going with these characters. What stories are you telling with them? And I think they did a really good, like so far, I've been thinking they've been doing a really good job with it.
Yeah. Wanda came off as super weird to me, but I think Elizabeth Olsen has just like forever screwed up my view of that character. Like,
like they made this one like a pupil of Strange instead of like that. That's kind of like the role they took. Yeah, here. And I was like, okay, I can accept that.
Yeah, it was just like her. It's like her. It's like her lack of like not even confidence, like her lack of I don't know. It's not just that she is like his pupil. It's that she feels like he's constantly like, to me, he's constantly like telling her what to do or like telling her like there's just not a lot of
does it feel like oh man, does it almost feel like Doctor in Multiverse of Madness how he kind of treats her?
A little bit. Yeah. And I'm like, it's one thing, and I had issues with America being like this tiny little fraction, but I loved what she did. But like, I had problems with that whole interaction too. But like Wanda being in that spot is weird to me. And even just like going back into the comics and stuff, like, yes, there would have been probably something like if you go further back, yes, maybe that would have been the case. But like seeing where that character has grown to be both in the comics and in the MCU, it's just, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird to like take now. That's not really a criticism, and I'm not finished with it yet, so I don't know where that goes and stuff. So I'm totally open to just like eating crow. It's not going to be the first crow I've eaten this year. But yeah, so I agree with you. There are some characters, Tony and Captain Marvel especially, that just feel so, you're like, you couldn't have put like there's a couple other. Yeah, you couldn't put Moon Knight in here instead of Iron Man, but I get it. I know he sells things. The other thing for me this year, I mean, it's gonna be a no-brainer to nobody. WWE 2K22 was so fun.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
The game was that's so fun. That draft mode and like being able to put together your brands and all that. I was eating that up. And then when I'm not playing Supercard, because that is I kind of wore down on Snap. So I don't I was in the beta for it. And then I played for about a month. I played for about a month and then I hit a wall. And then I went, I'm good. So then it launched and like all this like buzz and hype is about it. And I was like, oh, should I go back in? And then I went back in for a little bit and I was like, nah, I'm good. And then it's like, I only have room for like one of those I need to check every day type things. I need to get a couple games. Supercard is mine. I've been in it too long at this point.
That's how I am with Pokemon Go, where my two mobile games right now are Snap and Go. That's it.
That really worked out too from a naming convention.
Yeah, it did. It really did. Until this new Marvel Go comes out, whatever that's gonna be like.
I'm actually really looking forward to the DC. DC's got one with Cryptozoic that they're developing, and I'm blanking on the name right now. I don't think it hits till like later next year, but that one looks super cool, and it seems to be tied to the comics more and stuff. So I'm like Snap is. So I'm like, okay, I'm up to try it, and I like Snap a lot. Like the gameplay, the core gameplay. I think if it wasn't tied to the seasons, I would keep playing. Like Supercard does a really good job of like always giving you incentives to log in and hitting you with different modes to play. And Snap, like the main incentive to keep getting in the game is to get more cards.
Get more cards, get more rewards. They've done a good job recently where they added a new system to get more like a card that you want. So there's almost like a rotating set of cards that goes off like every 12 hours or so that you can pin if you finally get the one that you want, if you don't have enough of like the tokens. So you can save up if you're just like waiting for like a Thanos, or not even something that big. It could be something smaller. Like Wong is incredibly useful.
Yes, Ryan. Thank you. That is what it's called. Thank you. Yes, that is what it's called. Okay, so I might need to log in because that was my primary thing. Like Supercard has like I can play one of 4 modes right now or 5 at any given time. There's like 5 modes and like 2 of them are constantly circling out every month. So like it's there's always like a bunch of different ways I can play the game and earn cards and earn coins. And in Snap, it's like fundamentally there's one way. Like you can play with your decks and change your approach, but like the modes themselves, like the core game is the same.
That's kind of it. Like the game is the game. The thing that they change every few days is what location shows up more. So you'll have to set up a deck that will kind of suit that location if it's showing up more often. And
yes, we are, Nicole. Yes. We were talking Marvel Snap.
So I have a few decks I like to work with. There's one that I use whenever I just get like a little angry, which is called I literally call it my FU one, which is just designed to tick off the other person. Everything in there is just like incredibly set. It's like -1 all your cards. I steal all your cards. Whatever it is, it's just designed just to annoy the other one.
Oh my god. That is
I get a lot of forfeits very quickly.
Oh, and by the way, I will say this for anyone who wants, if we're into a conversation, you want to share some of your stuff, on camera as well, let me know. I can always shoot you a link and pop you in if you so choose to want to do that. I know not everyone wants to do that, but if you do, let me know. I do need to dive back in. I feel like I need to grab that. I still say for me, I don't think I got to a point where like I had multiple decks, but I was more pissing people off with like, I think mine was Onslaught. Like I had one built around him, and then I had one built. I had one. What was there's it's not multiple man, but it's another character because it's been a minute now since I played. It was another character though that would like create. Was it a Sentinel? It might have been. I had one configured where like
there's
I was
Sentinels that Sentinels would spawn constantly. So like, you put it down and go back in your deck. You put it down and go back in your deck.
So I had a deck kind of customized where I was spawning like a shit ton of those, and then I think it was White Tiger. There's like a White Tiger like sends the card like that's like a 7 to like another deck, and like so I had it configured. It was just all like ones that were like multiplying.
So that's my on reveal deck. So it's Wong makes it so whenever you put something down, reveal effects happen twice. So you put Wong down and then you put White Tiger down, and then there's just tigers everywhere. You get 2 tigers, and then you put the Lockjaw Ronin in Death. Lockjaw is a menace. Lockjaw
Words that have never been said ever.
Especially if you have a destroyer deck. Because if you have a destroyer deck and you have Lockjaw, it will just keep destroying things in your deck. And Death, which has like a 12 power, goes down every time you destroy something. So you're just like going through things. It's a menace to deal with. But the reveal one, so you put down Wong, you put down White Tiger, so then you have 2 tigers out. Then you put down Odin, which activates everything again, and then you get like 2 more tigers out. So then essentially you could have a whole location full of 7s.
That's amazing. Okay, by the way, you are totally making me want to jump back into this. I might have to put it back on my phone. I just got a new phone, and now I don't have to like fight for space for everything. So I might. That's the reason why I keep deleting Fortnite from my PS5 is because I keep running out of space. And so I download it because like they add a new skin to the store, and then I never play it like for a month. And people keep like, hey, you should play it. And I'm like, I never play it, and I delete it. And then like the next day, they come out with some skin. Like they came out with Geralt, and I really thought about putting it back on there, and I would have. So like that's how Snap is going to be for me. I feel like it's the Fortnite on my phone.
I almost downloaded Fortnite when they had the Kate Bishop skin, and I didn't. And that was the only time I was ever going to get Fortnite. That was the only time, and I didn't do it.
What's up, CJ? By the way, I just popped in there. I'm with you though. I feel you. I will say, like outside of that, I think the only other, because I played a lot of games this year, but like a lot of them were tabletop. Like a lot of them were board games. This was actually a really good year for board games as well. But I think. Right now, I'm playing The Witcher for like the 90th time because it's so pretty. I got the next gen upgrade, and I've been playing. And my God, it sucks that I had to start over because I had some other saves that I could have ported over that were on my PS4 account, but like it wouldn't let me. Like you have to start it over, so I was like, okay, that's fine. And then like seeing how pretty it is, I don't care, and it's just like falling in love all over again. The game is so good. Oh, it's great. It's magic. It's wonderful.
Game. I got into that earlier I think it was later last year, earlier this year. I started playing The Witcher.
Oh, 3?
Yes.
Did you?
I just jumped right into it. Like I never played 1, never played 2. I was just like, I'll just jump into this, and it was fun.
I think the game. Did you finish it?
No, but I'm close.
Yeah, and in that game, that actually like means something. Did you dip into the expansions at all?
No.
Okay. So one of them, especially like Blood and Wine. Well, actually, okay, both of them are great, but Blood and Wine you could almost play like completed by itself, and it's like
because they had a sale not too long ago where it was like get The Witcher 3 for $5, and I was like, okay.
And I think also too, like number one, you don't need to play The Witcher 1. They're doing a remake for it, which I think is wonderful, and it'll probably bring that up to speed because like the first one, if you go from Witcher 3 to playing that one, it's like night and day, and not just like combat because like the combat's terrible, but like the story and stuff like it. They weren't refined, and then in 2 is great. 2 is actually really good on its own, but 3 is just you don't even need the first 2. Just 3 is so good. Oh, I love The Witcher.
Will The Witcher 2 play on a PS2? Will Witcher 1 play on a PS2?
Witcher 1 will probably play on like a Game Boy Color. Game's terrible. Like, I mean, look, I love parts of it. Don't get me wrong, but like, jeez, like that thing is.
Respect the Game Boy Color.
I mean, I'm gonna play like Command and Conquer, Red Alert, and Witcher like on the same computer. Like,
respect
it's
the color.
And by the way, I would never shame someone for having an old system.
No.
So PS2, Nicole, you rock that PS2. It's amazing. I remember when I got, someone gave me. Was it my stepdad? It might have been. I don't remember. Someone gave me a Saturn. I had a Sega Saturn for like a hot minute. And like that's actually where I first played? That was where I first played Tomb Raider. That's what started my love for Tomb Raider, because like I adore the Tomb Raider games. And it was on a Saturn that like someone just gave me, and I was like, oh man, like why aren't more people buying the system? And then you play like other games, and you're like, oh, I get it now. But like, also my in a weird tangent story that's sort of kind of related. So like my stepdad had the worst taste in the consoles, right? So like he had a record. So like for a birthday one year, my uncle asked me like, hey, like what system like do you want to get? And at the time it was the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, and they had 64. That was the battle everywhere. And I was like, oh, PlayStation has Game Day and it has all this other stuff. And like Dad was like, oh no, it's got Mario and then like all this other crap. So like I was like, no, I don't think so. And then so he was like fully on N64. But then the previous generation, he was on the Jaguar side. And so he was like, oh no, you need to get a Jaguar. And then he started talking about the 3DO. He has the worst taste in systems ever. And then looking back, I would make all the opposite decisions. And I went, yeah, I'm glad I didn't listen to you. I picked the right horse.
Man.
Yeah. But like seriously, who can like look back? That's like now, like looking back at like movie reviews of your like 3 years on and going like, that wasn't a good movie. Like, yeah, I do that from time to time. Like,
drop your rating down a little bit on the
yeah, if I had to adjust, I've done that a lot. Like if I have to adjust I do it in my head, because then the next time around comes and I'm like, that should have been a 3.5. That should have been a 3. That should have been a 2. But I'm like, I've already set a standard, so I have to stay kind of in line with that. But yeah, like I think it's I mean, how do you feel when you like review stuff? Do you feel that way? Like you grade it?
I do whatever I can, especially when I do like a comic review of the week on TikTok or something. And I'm like, yeah, let's review. I do my best not to give it a rating. Or it's more of like, I really liked it, I recommend it, or this was okay. If you like this, go get it, or So I try not to give something a number per se, but occasionally I will, because people like number systems and are like, yeah, 5 out of 5. People just get that.
It's so hard. I understand where and also I just love how this conversation, like all by my own fault, just like completely went from a looking at everything great 2022 to like the worthiness of a rating system. So that's my bad. I'm sorry. But like I understand the want to not, because I get it. Like a bunch of publications that I follow and over the years have kind of switched. Some of them stay with the number system. Some open it up to where it's like so ludicrous. Like, because like to me, like having 100-point scale, it's just, I mean, why rate it then? Like you can literally give everything you ever rate a different score. I don't know what the point is. Like it's because kind of you need some kind of parameters to kind of be able to judge everything off of each other, other stuff. But yeah, like I understand it, but like I like a number.
I do too. And so like the big thing has been rankings, right? Everyone loves ranking things these days. So when we're all like ranking your favorite MCU Phase 4 projects and you see something at the bottom, after every single ranking I do, I put what I give it out of 10. So that way it's not like you put it at the bottom, you hate this, you gave it an F. And I'm like, no, I gave it a 7 out of 10. It's just everything else was like an 8 or higher.
Yeah.
So I'll do it for like that, just because it's, you know, people get mad if somebody's favorite project is at the bottom. Like if I ever see Hawkeye at the bottom of anybody's list, I will start flipping tables. But
well, you don't have to worry about that for me anymore.
No.
So yes. There was a time where I would have been like, oh, that's probably me. So yeah, moving on. Hold on, I'm looking at here what CJ said. To the hate I got after my Shrek and Dark Knight. Wait, what did you give Dark Knight?
He gave them both a 3 out of 5.
Wait, the original Shrek?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I know. Sorry to call you out, bud, but
okay. Here's the thing. Can I tell you? Okay, so I need to know this, CJ. I need context. So I need to know.
He gave Morbius a 3 out of 5.
Oh. Okay, well, hold on. Damn it, that really okay. So, what did you give the Batman Begins, and what did you give Dark Knight Rises?
CJ, have you seen Batman Begins?
You have got to have seen. You have got to. I write for a living. Good Lord, I can't freaking talk.
Maybe he hasn't. For me, I give Batman Begins like.
Oh, there you go. There it is.
Okay. So that's 4 out of 5 for Batman Begins and a 3 out of 5 for Dark Knight Rises.
Okay, so far, I'm gonna say as long as Rises doesn't break everything, I'm kind of on board with him, just with like with an alteration. 3 out of 5. Okay. Oh wait, Dark Knight Rises is the same. Oh, okay. Okay, so here's the thing. Dark Knight Rises, I can't hate it. Like I know that movie's very like divisive. I like Dark Knight Rises, but like I have issues with big pieces. But like I think the Dark Knight's a little overrated. So I agree with them to not, because Batman Begins is my favorite of Nolan's trilogy. So that is up top. Like Batman Begins is awesome. So I put Dark Knight up below it. But then Shrek is really good.
Like the thing when he said Shrek was a 3 out of 5 completely broke it all for me. But I don't want to rag on CJ here.
Okay, Nicole put hers in here. I think Nicole's upset with me. Begins 4 out of 5. Dark Knight 5 out of 5. Okay, so here's the thing. And this, all of a sudden, this became not best of 2022. But when did Dark Knight come out? My issue with 2013 or whatever the hell like the movie came out. Okay.
No, was it?
No, it probably wasn't. It's not remotely accurate. Please don't quote me on that date.
Okay.
So
early 2010s.
That whole boat scene, if you cut that entire part of the movie, I rate that probably a half point higher. That whole like final act is so, I find it so like self-indulgent on like Nolan's part. I'm just like, oh my God, it took you 10 years to get to the point. I got it. I know the point. And so
I'm going to find a way to get back on the best of 2022 because I'm going to bring up a 2022 movie. And it
2008? Is. Oh my God, that makes me feel old. Anyway, okay.
And it is The Batman. And the one thing with The Batman that I didn't like was I thought that movie was going to end at 3 different spots.
That's true. Very true. It has like 8 epilogues.
It does. So I think it's funny because I'm pretty sure my top 3 movies of the year were exactly the same as Janelle's, which was Multiverse of Madness, The Batman, then Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I still need to watch this movie. Oh my God. It's on my list. It is on my list. Like everyone talked about it so glowingly. I'm going to watch it and then like amend my list if needed and be like, oh, hey, wait, Emma, you haven't seen The Batman?
Well, watch The Batman, Emma.
It's so good. I enjoy that movie. I just love how self-aware it is. Like it knows it's a Batman movie and it doesn't like try and make it anything but a Batman movie. You know,
it's one of the few Batman movies that really leans in on Bruce Wayne Batman being a detective and not just a superhero. It's him being a detective, albeit honestly in this movie, not a very good one, but he is a detective.
Okay, here's the thing. The best, I mean, look, the best detective Batman to this point in any medium outside of comics is Arkham, is the games.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's actually a detective in those, and he's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got like, I will say that too, because I agree with you. In this movie, he is not a great detective. He gets a lot of shit wrong. He gets stuff constantly wrong. But I do find that
accident.
Yeah, but I'm okay with it because like it's still relatively early in his career, and I'm like, okay,
exactly.
I can rationalize it, but
Yep.
yeah, I agree with you. Like it's like he's not the world's greatest detective yet. He's like, the world's best cup of coffee in Elf. Like he's just so. And he's just telling people he's the great. Yeah, he's fine. He's you know moderate. He's a moderate detective. Yeah. What were the other two okay, so your list was
Multiverse of Madness was number 3, which I very much enjoyed. I went in with just expectations of wanting a fun movie, a fun Sam Raimi movie, and I got a fun Sam Raimi movie. And I got a couple surprises. Thankfully, I wasn't spoiled going in, so that was nice. Wow. I know.
Good on you.
That was nice. And Everything Everywhere All at Once at number 1. That was my best theater experience of the year. It was one of the few non-superhero movies I went to this year. And it was a full crowd at my theater, which is nuts for a movie like that. For like, not like a MCU or a big movie, right? And everyone was laughing at the funny parts and dead silent during the serious parts. And when there's a really sad part, like literally heard everyone crying in the theater. It was just like one of those like theater experiences, like, wow, we all actually just sat and enjoyed this movie. I didn't have like a child in front of me, like jumping in the seat.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, what's up, Sigline? I just, I love how Nicole is like, no, mom is a hard no. Also, it's so weird to read that abbreviation because my first thought is like, oh my God, like, well, why do you guys dislike my mother? Like, she did nothing to you. It's just, it's like, but it makes all the difference when you see a movie, and that's why it's like super hard sometimes to disassociate like the environment I saw a movie in and my actual like true feelings about, because it does make a difference. Like when you see videos of the audiences seeing Endgame for the first time, or when like something is screened at like a Comic-Con and they're watching like the whole episode, the whole movie, there's this legit real kind of magic to being in that spot, and you're seeing it with people who are as invested in it as you are, and they're getting all those moments. They're getting all the, like, those spots were made for them, like those beats and those things. So like when you're in a place like that and you see something, like there is something to that. And to me, sometimes I have to kind of take a step back like about a week later and go, okay, like, do I still feel that way when I think about all those things, or like has some of that worn off a little bit? And I've had times where it didn't. It just was like, no, that was awesome, and that just made it even better. And then there's other times where, like, you kind of, I go like, I think I had more issues with it, but I think I didn't care because like the whole row was just losing their minds, and it was funny. It was funny in the moment. But yeah, I agree. There's been some things where that magic just makes the experience, as opposed to how I saw Infinity War, which was me and Anissa got tickets. We were blessed to be gifted like a gift card to AMC, but like the closest one to us was like a not so great location. And then on top of that, like the showing we got, we just happened to get one with like, we were seated in front of a person who, every time someone would speak, she would have something to say, and she would like, it was like a testimonial, or like it was like being in front of an evangelist. Okay, it was like someone, like every time someone would speak, and it would be like, that's right, you tell them, you got that, you go get them. And it was like every 4 minutes. And so Infinity War has a lot of those like big moments. So then you're like watching someone like fade from existence to go, no, that can't be right. Like behind you, right? And like Anise is like losing her mind. I can handle a little bit of that. Like I can kind of tune some of it out. But she was even annoying me. I was just like, oh my God, please. Please stop
I don't know
talking.
if that's worse. I feel like that is worse. So Wakanda Forever, I had a crying baby.
Oh,
for 2/3 of the movie.
That's rough, man.
That was,
and it's not the baby's fault.
Showing. No, it's not the baby's. It was first showing on a Thursday, and I was like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
And like, it's not like one of those. You're like, hey, can you leave the baby?
I know, right? Like, you can't say anything. It's like, no, that's I mean, that's kind of up to the the parent to kind of like, oh, I'm gonna.
Yeah, 2022 is the year where movie theater etiquette went down. I don't disagree with that.
Well, it was funny because like one of my biggest things of doing our top list was like compared to TV. I watched a lot of TV this year because there was a lot of really good TV. Just even between like streaming alone, nonetheless, network, right? So there was a lot, but it's much more attainable. Like I can watch almost any of it, and I could be on whatever schedule. I had a really hard time getting out to movies this year. Like just between childcare and our work schedules and everything else, like it was hard. Like it had to be a screening. And even then it was like 50-50 shot. Like, there were some I tried to get to and couldn't. And, it was just a really kind of difficult year to get into a theater for me. So like I didn't get to watch a lot of stuff until it hit streaming. And even then, by the time it hit streaming 2 months later, there's been 5 other things that have come out. So, your attention is so broken up. Oh God, what did she say? Oh no, you had a Spider-Man splainer. Those always make me laugh of like the tweets I see when like a creator is like, hey, I just got told like all the like I don't know the character, and then they like post a thing of like, oh, I've written the character for like 10 years. It's always just like,
that's always a good one.
Oh jeez.
So someone telling someone like Dan Slott what Spider-Man should do, and then Dan's just like, are you sure about that?
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Are you talking to the right person here?
Some teenage couple was making out next to me during Venom 2.
Oh, that happened to me too. But it's honest to God, the saddest part was it was Venom 2, so I didn't care. I was honestly, I was there the entire movie. I'm like, I'm literally just here for this post-credit scene. I do not care about this movie. This is a bad movie. Oh man, that happened to me. I had someone on their phone during Eternals last year at the very beginning. Like, what's going on with theaters these days? I don't know.
Like it's so, and here's my thing. I don't even care that you're on your phone. That's fine. I've come to accept that like you might be on your phone now. But turn the brightness down. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. And please, for the love of the Lord, don't turn on your clicky keys. That's it. Two very banal requests. Like just don't have it super bright. So like literally it looks like like you have the Ark of the Covenant in front of you when you're in the third row, and then don't turn on the clicky keys because come on, like this is just no brainer. This is no brainer.
Theater etiquette. But I do like the TV shows this year were very good. They were very, very good TV shows this year. Harley Quinn season, what was it? Season 3? Around season 3? That was great. I think that show specifically, I've been put on record. I said Harley Quinn is the best thing DC has put out, non-comic book, just strip DC has put out in probably the last decade.
It's a fantastic show. And Kaylee is so good in that role. And like, I will say like the casting is fantastic, but also just their willingness to like embrace, the Poison Ivy, like relationship, like all that stuff that we like get some of in certain comics and things like that. But even then, it's like rarely the focal point. And for like us to get that, and just like Kaylee is like really, when she first got cast, you know, I was like a lot of people. I was like, oh, okay, that'll be interesting. I don't know like what that's going to be like and stuff. And then when you see the first teaser of her just like rambling off at the mouth, like, oh my god, this is perfect, this is brilliant. And Ron Funches is like King Shark. Oh my god. So yeah, that show is amazing. And I mean, there's one like I haven't jumped into Doom Patrol yet because I'm behind, but like I hear good things about that. I love Titans. I love Titans. There was actually a lot of good DC TV.
There was. I mean,
Superman and Lois is fantastic. Yep. You know, like I know I need to get on Doom Patrol.
But we're too busy on Titans.
I know.
It's like the only show I get like a proper-ish Nightwing.
Oh, he's so Brenton Thwaites.
He's a good Nightwing. He's a good broody Nightwing. I would love to see, and I mean, the Tom Taylor run's like getting up there with one of my all-time favorite comic runs. I'd love to see that version of like a late 20s, early 30s Dick Grayson kind of out there. But we'll get there someday.
I mean, look, Tom Taylor at this point, I mean, it's a cliche, but like he could write the phone book and I'd read it. Like it's so amazing. That man
just make it like just perfect. Like, wow.
Yeah.
How emotional.
I'd buy the book again. I'd go, let me get to the F's. Let me get to the L's. I haven't seen what the T's are. Like that man could just, I mean, it was, and Dan Mora drawing it, sign me up. I'd buy that thing for life. You know, that'd be like, who needs Encyclopedia Britannica? Wow, that was an old reference. Anyway, that's a very old reference I just made. So yeah, no, I agree. I think DC, and I saw Nicole is lukewarm on Superman and Lois. Tyler is phenomenal as him. There's a like number one for a TV budget, they do really well. Like they actually they knock out their effects and they wait for the big moments and then they make it feel epic. And I love like the exploration of the kids, and I eat that show up. I feel like that show on a I don't. Now here's the thing, I will say this, and I'm completely biased. There are my default Clark and Lois will now and forever be Tom Welling and Erica Durance. Okay, Erica Durance is like the definitive Lois to me. All respect to Terry Hatcher, but like Erica Durance is Lois Lane. So like I am partial, and it took a minute for me to kind of actually give Tyler a shot. And then once I did, and like once I gave their show a shot, I was like, okay, I really like this. Oh my god, what?
Smallville. So Smallville was my, because that came out when, like mid 2000s, early mid 2000s, right? Like I'm not crazy on that. That came out early. Smallville came out early mid 2000s, right? That was my dad's introduction to me to like DC content in like TV show form.
Yeah. I know it's Cole. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, I'll make a deal with you. And slightly not fair because I feel like it might take. It's a Smallville. I feel like is a little bit of slow burn, but then you can say that about Doom Patrol. So okay, so I will watch Doom Patrol. I will catch up, or at least
there's so much Smallville was 2001. Holy heck!
Yeah, a lot. I'll give. Okay, I give you like a couple of key episodes to try on Smallville, and I will like watch the latest season of Doom Patrol. I'll catch up because I feel like that's a fairer thing, because I would probably only give you episodes post Lois, because I love the first couple seasons, and then there's like 2 seasons in the middle that kind of suck, and it's when they start going like overseas and doing all this random stuff and like martial arts stuff, whatever. What is that? And then she comes in, and like the show kind of really finds itself, and that last like 4 or 5 seasons rule. Like Zod, they killed Zod. I love Zod in that show. Okay, now let's just talk about Smallville. And by the way, okay, so story. I got to talk to Tom, right? I got to talk to Tom Welling, and I it was a bucket list thing for me. It was like a dream interview. I did it in my car going to pick up my wife. So Ember's in the back seat, in the car seat, because this was the only time this interview could happen. And I tried to like move it around. I couldn't. And I went, okay, I'm not missing this chance. Like it could be the only one. So do the interview in the car. I'm on the phone. It's on speaker so I can record. And I'm driving. And I also don't really know where I'm going. So like I got a GPS running in the background to kind of try and figure out where I'm going. And then like I'm loading Ember up with like fruit snacks and juices.
Please be quiet. Please be quiet.
And in the back, she's singing. She's being her. She's being very cute. And that was like still one of the best interviews I've ever had. It was like the best 10 minutes. And I meant to talk to him about the recent things, and I didn't because I couldn't stop talking about Smallville. Yep. And he was great, gave me some great answers, but like him and Erica will always be those two characters to me. Like they just captured something. So that's my deal, Nicole. All right, perfect. All right, there we go. Okay, I will get you some key episodes, and you can watch that, and then I will catch up on Doom Patrol, and then we'll talk about it, and it'll be fun. There we go. I just remember Kristen's awesome, and Michael Rosenbaum is amazing. Like I love that cast. I mean, like, and Lionel Luthor, Glover, blanking on his first name. That first Justice League, Hartley as Green Arrow, he killed it, man. That was pre This Is Us money, but like
This Was Us money.
But like now he's like crushing. Now he's like Justin Hartley. Thank you. I'm not totally off. This is making me feel good. And by the way, thank you, Brandon, for just doing so much work in the background. I think I blanked on like 3 things.
Brandon's got a good memory. I do not.
So was there any other show that stuck out to you?
Oh man, I'm trying to think. Trying to think if there was just like any more comic book shows or just in general. I constantly forget what came out this year. There's just so much. Peacemaker was great. Yes, House of the Dragon. Oh my god, House of the Dragon. Because I never saw Game of Thrones.
I'm with you. Oh, me and you were the ones.
Yep. Never watched Game of Thrones. And I wanted to watch House of the Dragon without seeing Game of Thrones. I'm like, could somebody do this? And the answer was obviously, like, absolutely yes.
Yeah.
To the point where I now own every book of the entire Game of Thrones saga, and I am like working my way through it.
Oh, so you're actually going back and watching them?
I'm reading them.
Oh, reading them. Oh, you're reading the books.
I'm reading them, so I'm going book by book, and after every book, I go back and watch the season.
Wow. Well, you got plenty of time. He's not going to finish that thing for like 10 more years. So
yeah, right. It's funny. He's like, I think he came out this year. It was like he's almost done, and then he came out. Was like, yeah, I have like 500 more pages to write. And I was like, what? I thought you said you're almost done.
Oh wait, did I miss a kitty? I missed a kitty sighting. I don't have a kitty sighting. Oh, there we go. Oh my god, adorable. Pets rule.
She loves sitting on the comic book boxes.
Oh, and Peacemaker too, by the way. Props to Peacemaker. That was quite fun. Yeah, I'm trying to. There's not like that. I mean, Stranger Things just fantastic. I cannot wait for season 5. I'm still hype on Wednesday, and I am glad now that like Kofi watched it after the fact and was like, "Yeah, that's pretty good." I was like, "Yeah, I told you." I told you that show was good.
It's fun. It's like a fun YA magical mystery show.
She's Jenna Ortega is amazing in that role, and it's made me like a way bigger Addams Family fan. Oh, you just started? Oh yes. Okay, yeah. I also love that it's 8 episodes. Like, yes, you can jump in and out of that, and it's a breeze. So I won't say any spoilers. But I mean, there's so much room for season 2, if and I'm waiting for that formal announcement. Yeah, man, there's a lot of good stuff. Okay, so before we go, because I know we're already clocking in an hour here, so
I can keep going. I'm good.
Comics. I want to get to comics. So
So many good
We
comics
did.
this year.
We did our top 3, but like it would have been very easy to do a top 10, and we just didn't have the 3-hour real estate to do that. So, I mean, so for me, everyone knows it was Once a Future, Batman the Night, and that was actually super hard to nail down, and then do a power bomb because those 3 were just so great. But like for me, like Sweet Paprika was fantastic this year. Exterminators is great. I love that Janelle's picks were like Exterminators and Captain Marvel. Made me just so happy. Oh, I love that. But like Chip's Batman run, his main Batman run is great. Also another one that got that kind of came out early in the year, and it ended its 3rd issue like right at the beginning of the year. So it's like super easy to kind of forget about. But like Batman and Robin, that 3-issue mini was phenomenal. I thought they did such an amazing job of like exploring like Dick's relationship to Bruce, and that was like excellent. But like the 3rd issue came out like February, and so it's just so easy to kind of with the monsoon of books, it's like super easy to kind of forget about that. Crap, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I actually had a list somewhere, but for while I dig that up, what were the ones that stuck out to you?
Well, I love to do a power bomb. I thought that was the book of the year, especially new series of the year. Absolutely phenomenal. I love Tom Taylor's Nightwing. Can do no wrong. Phenomenal. Chip Zdarsky, you mentioned Batman the Night, which is great. He has a book out now where you can get the trade next month, but it's a Substack book. It's called Public Domain.
Oh, yes.
It's great. It is so good. It's a little inside baseball with like the comic industry and the movie industry and like comic book movie industry, but it's like those projects that come from Substack are very much like I call them like passion projects coming to life.
Yeah,
and
sure.
You could tell that was a story he wanted to tell from a perspective of a comic book creator, and how comic creators just get screwed recently in terms of IP and when things become big movies. So that was great. I got into manga this year.
Ooh.
I never thought I would ever get into a manga, but I got into one. It's Spy Family. It's because it is just really what's the word for it? It's pure. It's just it's a simple concept. It's a little bit of a simple concept of a spy whose task is to create a family so he can like infiltrate like the East-West nation. So he gets a daughter and he doesn't know the daughter's telepathic. And then he gets a wife and he doesn't know that the wife is secretly an assassin. So none of the people in the family know who none of the people in the family know who they really are, except the daughter, who's a telepath. So she knows everything, but she's in 1st grade, so she's not like saying much. So it's like it's a great concept. It's a lot of fun. There's just really pure moments in there. It's not just all about the overarching story. Sometimes you get just like little things where the wife yours just like, I just want to learn how to cook properly for the kid because the kid hates my cooking. So you get like little slices of life stories in there, which I like in my comics or manga now.
Did it just start like this year, or is it
I think it started a few years ago because it's on volume 8 now. You can pick it up wherever or whatever.
Was it turned into an anime yet?
It is an anime. You can watch it on Hulu and Crunchyroll. Okay. And it's only 20 episodes, which is considering compared to a lot of other animes, One Piece, that go on for 37 seasons.
Dragon Ball.
Very easy to get into.
Okay. I might need that. Sounds amazing.
It's a great concept. It's fun. And the dubbed English version is very good too.
I know that oh my god, is it Shonen? Is it like
Shonen? Shonen. You can read them on Shonen. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like $2.99 a month. It's like a crazy good deal, and I had it for
read them for free. You just can't go back and reread them. So you get like your first read per thing is free, and then after that,
might have to do that then because that sounds awesome. But like, I have a hard time like that's a whole world right unto itself. And I remember starting and trying to get like into like a because I found like 90 things I wanted to read because it's very easy. And I was just like, oh my God. And then I was reading My Hero Academia Vigilantes. And then I loved that book and I followed it for a minute. And then I think I just like I took a break for a minute and then just never jumped back in. I'm loving Chainsaw Man right now, and I'm thinking about jumping over and reading that. So I might have to do that because that sounds awesome. I love the concept. That's cool. Anything else to stick out to you?
I love Something Is Killing the Children, and it's back. And I think issue 26, we talked about it for a little bit, how sometimes some issues nothing happens. Yeah. And issue 26, which was the first one back after a hiatus, nothing happened. And I was like, come on.
That book, like, and that's okay. So that's the only time that book gets a negative score for me is that. Yeah. I've not read a bad issue. It's not that the book is bad. It is that nothing happens for
in
like
some issues. Yeah.
In those issues. So like anytime you see Something Is Killing the Children get a negative score from me, and when I say negative, I mean like a 3 or below, then because typically that book is in the 4 and 5s because that book I love that book. But the only times it gets lower than that is when nothing happens. And there are issues where I'm like, this whole issue could not have existed.
I do recommend anyone to read it in like a trade format because those nothing issues can like blow by quickly. Like, you know, issue 26 go and then 27 hits, which was last week. I'm like, what a 10 out of 10 issue. This is phenomenal. I'm like, oh my God.
And there are key beats. Not even beats. There's key things that happen in those issues, in the not filler, but like those slice of life in between things. There are some key things that do make the payoffs at the end better. But they're not to the point where they're indispensable. And so at that point, it's like, okay, so did we need a whole 22 pages to get to this? Like, I don't know if that was worth it, just the linking. But like, there is good stuff there, even in those issues. But yeah, anytime it gets lower than a 4 for me, it's typically because a lot of stuff doesn't happen. We visit everybody in the city, and like, why did we have that conversation over here? Why are we at the police station? Why are we talking to her? Why is she yelling at her aunts? Like, there's nothing here. But yeah, I agree. That series is just continues to do so many just really, it's just so weird and different and unlike anything else. And we actually got the comic book Slack channel got into a little bit of a back and forth about James, about like his books, because he's a little bit of, I would say, probably he's not a divisive creator. It's just like you either really love his books or you really don't. Like he kind of like the books themselves tend to be kind of divisive. Like you're either on board or you're not. So like I'm on board with like Something Is Killing the Children. I've enjoyed House of Slaughter, the current Scarlet, like the red side, like there's a lot of interesting things there, but that hasn't been as strong as Erica's story. But like his, like House on the Lake,
I got a bunch of comics, bunch of trades for Christmas. House on the Lake is one of them. Once in Future was one of them. I just finished that. So, and I know you love it, and I liked it. I only had one issue with it. It was, I apparently know nothing of Arthurian legends because it expects you to know a lot of stuff. So I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I don't know anything that's going on. Because they're like, and this part of it where I'm like, I have a feeling I should know this.
So wait, so you finished the series?
Don't. Oh, just the first volume.
First volume. Okay. So I will say, yes, once. Yeah, that like after that, like first like 3 issues, it starts opening things up to like other characters. I can't. It's been a minute since I've read the first couple, so like, is Beowulf in there yet, or like Green? Oh man, I'm blanking.
It was the whole first volume is all about King Arthur.
Okay, so once it starts opening up, I think it becomes less that way. Okay. but only because like you're dealing with so many other notable characters in Fable and Myth. That's a little easier to like not. I don't necessarily have to know where this character fits in, but I've heard the name. I have a general idea, and they kind of do the rest. Like they'll kind of walk you through the rest of how those characters fit into this overall thing. But the Arthur specifically, because that only gets more complicated as the series goes on.
I learned, I was like, man, I know King Arthur. I know King Arthur's table, and that's it.
Yeah, once you start getting into like the Lancelots and Percivals and you know, like how like the mom like relates to that, and like how you were trying to make a Percival. Anyway, all that stuff was like so super interesting. I eat that up like with a spoon. So yeah, like but I agree. I think it can be a little dense. And it does catch you because like there's stuff when I first started reading that book, there's stuff that I was like, I don't know what that is. And I had to go and like read up and go, okay, I get it now, you know?
Yeah, the whole Percival stuff. It's when they mix in the other aspects of it where I'm like,
it's like, and then you get like into like later on, it's, oh my God, the book is so good. I adore what they did with that, because it's just like Kieran Gillen is just so good at taking those, like that core concept of like, what if Arthur was bad? And just like that book is not at all what like you would think by that concept. It's not just like this Arthur and like you're under totalitarian regime. Like it's not like Age of Ultron. Like you know what I mean? Like in a Marvel sense, like it would be like, oh, like this villain takes over and like everything is under his. Like it's not that at all, really. That's a part of it, but like it's really like understanding stories and like how deep you let yourself immerse in the fables, and like it gets like really super meta and stuff. But like I love that so much. And Mora is amazing. That is like he's one of the most slept on artists. Like
the art's great.
His work on Claws is phenomenal every year. Like him and Grant Morrison do some of the best work in comics every year on a Santa book, and it's just amazing. I mean, that just had a Kickstarter, I think, for doing some stuff. It was amazing. So like, yeah, like that, and his stuff on Rangers, and like we're gonna get spoiled again because there's Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's a bunch of damn more art, and oh my God!
Yeah. I learned this year I really love Boom Studios books. That's been like my publisher of the year that just like shot up. It was so many things that they've done. Grimm's been fantastic. Yeah,
you're bringing the
Phillips. Grimm's been fantastic.
Briar started off really well.
Briar's great. This isn't Boom, but Dark Ride. Really cool. That like is everything that I've liked in comics so far. Like horror with theme parks, and it like is like an evil Disney World, and I'm just like sold. All in on this. There's just so many, and we're really in just like the golden age of indie comics.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's so good.
Just looking at it's like sad to hear stuff about like Aftershock.
Yeah, Aftershock,
you know, because like there's so many books from Aftershock that I have enjoyed over years. Like Animosity is one of my favorite books of all time. I love that series. Marguerite Bennett just does amazing work, and so like, but like I wouldn't have had that, you know, without Aftershock. So I mean, there's just oh my God, blinking on. We Live. It was a stunning series. I adore that series so much, and then they got its sequel. But like, yeah, like they just them over the last couple of years, they've done so much. But like, Image has been putting out some huge books. Vault's doing, you know, some great stuff. Mad Cave is doing stuff. So like, there's a lot, and Boom especially. Like Boom has been just knocking out of the park. I really like it. I have yet to read Grimm. That is on my list. I need to catch up on that.
Flaviano's art in it is so good. And there's something with music in there that I really dug. And they'll have lyrics kind of going around a page. And if you have a song playing in the background almost, it just like matches the vibe of like reading the comic and you're just kind of going through it and the lyrics kind of go from pit and like, this is just a vibe. It's so good.
No, yes. I want to know what level of good I need to be in 2023 to get on the Santa list where I get comics for Christmas. Look, man, I got most of my like Christmas wants this year. My wife killed it, and my little munchkin did such a great job of getting stuff. Oh, I have stuff here. Wait, I have show and tell. My pet turtle. No, it's not real. So I got Anissa got my Becky.
Oh, yes.
The red gear, which like
nice.
I love. And then this was an impromptu one, but she literally we found Shotzi when we were like,
oh, nice. Ah.
And then
you need a little tank to come into.
Oh my god, please make a tank. Please build a tank or something. And then I got he's a gnome. His name is Wyeth. I named him. Yes. It's not as fancy as Humbart Jinglebottom, which is my blue gnome, which is at work, but it's the same. And then I got my purple PS5 controller, which was amazing because a certain little wonderful daughter who will remain nameless might have spilled milk all over the previous one. And so we got me a new controller in a pinch, but it was my pretty purple one. And I was so upset. I was like, oh my God. And so now I have my new one. What'd you get, by the way, what'd you get for Christmas?
A lot of comics. So I got ones in the future. I've been starting Saga. So I've read Saga. I've been doing it volume by volume because someone just gave me like the omnibus. And I'm not an omnibus person, but I did order my very first omnibus and it should be coming in tomorrow. Ooh. So if anyone can guess it, you got the first volume of a trade because I have the first volume of a trade. I think you'll be very happy with it because I know characters you like, and it is a character behind you. So there's a teaser.
Oh, what? Oh, wait. Unfortunately, if I move the camera, there's like, hold on.
I
don't think I've ever actually shown my.
I see the character.
Who is it? What color is she wearing? What color is he wearing?
Purple.
Oh, it's a bad girl. Did I say it? Like, I said, oh my God, I'm so excited. Wait.
So now it's which one?
Yeah, now it's which one. That's it, because there's so many good ones. I got the warm joy of everyone else opening presents. Oh, okay. I need to send Nicole stuff.
It's
send Nicole presents.
It's Batgirl of Burnside because I read the first volume and I had so much fun with it. It was so much fun that I was like, I see the omnibus.
It's my favorite run.
It's on Damon. It's on sale, and it's bought.
Oh my God! It's my
it's my first omnibus because technically Hawkeye doesn't have one. I have every complete collection, but it's not an omnibus.
So it's okay. We will tell Hawkeye you're not cheating on him. It's fine. It's okay. And but I think if you were going to get one, please clip that for. Can someone clip that for me? I'll download it. Clip it. I gasp and like make random noises like that all the time during interviews, and then I go, God, I really gotta stop doing that. I was like, not professional. But someone will answer a question, I'll be, and then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a 5-year-old.
I had such a good time with it. That's my first one, and I'm getting my second one next year. And then I'll just wait for like if they ever make a Hawkeye one, that'll be the next one or the last one. But the next one I'm getting is Jed McKay's Black Cat run because I love his Black Cat run. I mean, I just love Jed McKay is freaking everywhere. Literally everywhere, and everything he puts out is so good.
So I do not honestly remember who is nominated on our Golden Issues Writer of the Year list. I don't remember. But I will say, like, for me, like, I would have voted, like, there's a couple of people I'd vote in, and it would be hard pressed for anyone to beat him. It would be him and Tom Taylor. Like, it'd probably be between those two. And Chip. Oh, that's hard. So I know Chip was in there. I know Chip's in the list. That's really hard because there's like a lot of good writers this year. But I will say, like, Jed McKay has yet to put out a book in 2022 that I don't like. Like it doesn't like whether on the scale I might like some more than others. Moon Knight, like his Moon Knight is incredible, and
Moon Knight's so good
at this point, like right up there with the great runs. Like it's fantastic. But like his Black Cat, Mary Jane, his Strange.
He put out Iron Cat this year, and I was like, "We're doing an Iron Cat book, Chad. What are we doing?" And then I read it, and then I'm like, "I don't know why I doubted you."
It was like Fortnite, like came out of nowhere good. I'm like, this has no reason to be this good. Like, it's why are we doing this? And it's fantastic. Yeah, he had a great 2022. Also, want to give I will say there was a couple on my list here that I forgot. So yeah, X Lives and X Deaths of Wolverine. I thought those were really good. That was Percy also had a really good year this year. Naomi season 2. I love Naomi. It's a bummer that the show got canned, but like the book, Bendis Naomi is always money for me. Let's see. Flashpoint Beyond actually ended up being way more interesting and layered than I thought that book was going to be. Catwoman Lonely City. That was fantastic.
Yep.
Rogues was phenomenal. I love Rogues so much. In fact, like DC Black Label could have just had a whole list to themselves this year.
Shout out Poison Ivy by G. Willow Wilson.
That too.
That was great. Still is great.
Donny Cates Hulk, I loved. Sad that it kind of got cut short. Black Adam was really good. Christopher Priest's Black Adam. The Closet was super weird.
Forgive me about that.
But it was at least interesting. Let's see. X-Men Red, was that this year? Good Lord.
X-Men Red was this year.
Yeah.
X-Men Red is constantly referred to as the best X-Men book on the shelves right now. That isn't Exterminators.
I mean, look, I can't argue with it. I think for me, Marauders used to be that. And then the switchover happened, and I like it, but I don't love it like I did. But like, I loved that book. That book was the flagship X book, in my opinion, like more than X-Men. Like, I was just like, no, this book is Marauders is money. And then when the switchover happened, it's good, but it's not as good.
That was Hellions for me. I loved that Hellions run. It was so good.
And She-Hulk launched this year.
She-Hulk did launch this
Dark
year.
Knights of Steel is another one. Death of Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange was a good event.
Nubia and the Amazons I actually really liked. I liked all the stuff from Nubia this year. I thought for starting off the year, it would have been very easy, and I'm glad I didn't predict it, but it would have been very easy for me to go, oh, this is the year of Wonder Woman. Because like at that point in time, Wonder Girl was kicking ass. Nubia was kicking ass. And the core Wonder Woman book was actually doing some interesting things coming off of like the last year. And then like Nubia kept doing stuff, but then they canceled Wonder Girl. And then the core Wonder Woman book, like Trial of Amazons was good, but like not what it didn't end up going exactly the way I thought they would go. And then it just like feels like that side of the universe is it's still there. Like there's still some good stuff there, but it doesn't have the momentum that it did at the beginning. So I was kind of bummed, but oh my God, the new Stargirl rules. Oh my God. Yes, Nicole. That book is so good. Have you read that?
No, I was just going to bring up Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil.
That too. Jeez. Yeah, that too.
Devil's Reign, another good event.
Yeah, Devil's Reign was also good. It is excellent. What is it called, Nicole? Is it Stargirl and the Forgotten Children? I think it's the Forgotten Children. If I'm off the top of my head. There was actually also and the Miss Marvel team up books were great.
Yeah, where she was like with Moon Knight and one of them, right?
Yeah, and Wolverine.
Was Venom one of them?
Yeah, Venom was one of them. Because that was a team up that was like super weird, it wasn't even Eddie, it was his son. So I thought that was actually kind of cool. Okay. But yeah, all the Daredevil stuff and like the Elektra, like that's also been really good. Yeah. So
I got Emma on the Zdarsky Daredevil run, so she's gonna try. So she's working her way to get to Devil's Reign.
Nice. Yeah. So in short, this was a good year for comics.
It was an excellent year for comics. And I can't wait for next year, because next year
there, by the way, I was gonna say, is there anything you're looking forward to? Like, is there one book?
Scarlet Witch getting a brand new run again. Can't wait for that. It's funny because this Wednesday, Marvel puts out like their Timeless book now. This is their second time they're doing it, which is essentially serves as here's what's coming next year. And I'll be curious to see what's on the plate for next year.
Gambit and Rogue. That's
Gambit and Rogue. Yep.
Yeah.
A new Doctor Strange book written by Jed MacKay.
Yeah, that'll be
Steven taking back over.
I will read that. I'm trying to think what else is.
Kelly Thompson teased something next year to me.
Yeah. What's the one of the most anticipated, like, for me? So like, I'm actually amazed it kicks off at the end of the year, but like, PR TMNT is going to be super fun. The first one, if you didn't read it, was amazing. It was hilarious. That is going to be great. I'm excited for what comes next in Captain Marvel with that next jump. Solicitations. I'm not like, I need to kind of go in and take a look at the what's coming calendar for that, for like next year. Cause like right now I'm super into the like Donna DC stuff. Like I'm very excited about Superman, Williamson and, Jurgens jumping in the backup stories and them taking back over with John and kind of moving those stories forward in the backups. Like I'm actually really excited for that. I've been loving the Superman books over the last 4 months and they're just doing so much amazing stuff there. So like, I can't believe I'm like saying that, but like I'm all in on Superman like next year. Like 2023 looks like I'm super hyped for Superman, and I would not have guessed that at the beginning of this year. So I'm also
Judgment Day type events next year. There will be. Marvel loves events. There will be many events next year. Do we know what they are yet? Sins of Sinister is the first event coming.
That's going to be awesome.
January. That has a little bit of a fallout from X Judgment Day. And there was a rumor floating around that the next Eternals movie is going to be based on Judgment Day, which I laugh at because Marvel movies, there's no way they're doing that. So far away. You can't do X Judgment Day without the mutants. It's kind of like half the story.
Jeez.
Like you can't, like it was a random rumor. And I looked at that, I'm like,
we're very close, okay, to Eternals, like doing what they're doing the same thing they did with Inhumans. Like it feels like I'm just deja vu. It feels like we're shoving them in everything. Like they're this. I know they're going to be this factor, but like they're not operating in their own little like corner. Like it feels like they're going to make them this like omnipresent group in the main universe, and it's going to do more harm than good, because then people are going to be like, yeah, but like,
The thing with Eternals that I've been talking to some people about, and they're like, but they're like half of them are dead, and I'm like, Eternals come back to life. It's kind of their thing. And then some fans are like, wait, they do that? And it's like, yeah, they're Eternals. Yeah. It's their thing. So do you care if they die? No.
I know, right? Yeah, that's the thing, dude. Yes, they can come back to life, but should they? It's should like they? Jeff Goldblum
that's like thing. When it comes to events and like the movies and the show, and like we're having the Secret Invasion show, and that was like such a massive comic event. And we're like, if they did ever do an Axe Judgment Day movie, there's so much to that event that it's like you wouldn't be able to fit all of it in like a 2.5 hour window.
Yeah,
you just
and if you did, it would.
What are you taking out?
Right. Yeah, and it's got to be like one key angle, or why do it if it's going to be so compressed to where like nothing matters? I don't know. It's super weird.
So it's like, and Marvel's done this before. We had Infinity War with the Infinity Gauntlet, and there was no death. Like, so they've done that before, where they'll take elements of what works. So if they were to do an Axe Judgment Day and there were no mutants, how would you, I don't know, do that?
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah. While we're on the before we go here, and by the way, I just gotta say thank you to Damon for just chatting for an hour and 45 minutes. I appreciate it. This has been super fun, and this has very much been like just talking with friends and stuff. And thank you for everyone who's jumped into the comments. This has been amazing. I love you all. You just are, you guys make our weeks on Comic Book Nation, and it's just awesome to have so many awesome people out there. So yeah, this is just a random thing on YouTube, and it'll be up here. I'll have it recorded and uploaded and stuff if anyone actually wants to watch afterwards. But I will say before we go, what is your favorite thing, just in general? Like, it doesn't have to, it could be a movie, a game, show, genre, whatever. What is your favorite thing from 2022? And what is the thing you were looking forward to most in 2023?
Well, the Kate Bishop Hawkeye series ended in 2022, so I'm going to say that out of obligation. Good. The thing I'm looking most to 2023. Oh, man, what's coming out next year? What is coming out? Oh, well, Nightwing 100 is coming out next year. I mean, even though it's technically not the 100th issue of Nightwing, it is. I'm looking forward to that. I am looking forward to what is Quantumania. You know, Disneyland. I am looking forward to seeing Ant-Man 3 Quantumania with a bunch of my friends. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, that's hard, kind of hard to top that, to be honest. Okay, yeah, that's a good list. For me, 2022. This is hard. There was actually a lot of
so much good.
There's a lot of really good stuff this year.
I went back to a convention for the first time in 2022.
Oh,
that was a lot of fun.
Man, I will. I asked the question. You think I'd be freaking prepared? Jeez.
Like, oh man, I didn't expect to answer this.
Such an idiot. You know what? I think actually, I will say, from a thing I enjoyed, type of thing. Man, I think. You know, I think so. I'm gonna say Miss Marvel. I'm gonna say the show, but when I say that, I really mean everything that surrounded the show. And so, what it really was like at that point in time, we were like there was still it was still in the pandemic, and like the pandemic's still going on. But it was kind of still like we weren't in. Like we were just getting back into the studio. Like things were just kind of lightening up to where we were really going into the office and things sometimes. And like we were at home kind of still transitioning with stuff and you know, getting childcare. Like, there was a lot of stuff going on like outside of that. But then like getting to interview the people behind it and some of the cast, and then seeing like how like well the show was received by the people I felt like it needed to be received by, and just how much joy I got out of those episodes and talking about those episodes. I actually did my first guest spot with Agents of Fandom during that show. So it was like a lot of things that like around it. So like the show itself was great and I really enjoyed it, but like it was kind of like that really great time around it, I think. For me, it was a really good, like, not turning point, because like the year wasn't terrible before that, but I was just saying like that was, I don't know, it's just like one of those things when like people react to something that you love in a great way, and you're not always have to defend it. Marvel's Avengers, like you don't always have to be the one that's like, this thing is not, terrible, it's awesome, you should play it. Like, it sucks being that guy sometimes.
Come on.
And then for 2023, I gotta say, so next year, project wise, I think is going to be a really like loaded year. Blue Beetle's up on the list somewhere, pretty high. But I will say, for me, it's actually in January. I'm going to San Antonio for Royal Rumble. So I'm actually like super excited because I got to go to Royal Rumble in St. Louis last year, but I did like the junket. And so the day before, but because of like where we were and like I needed to be back to one cover it from here, but also because like to take care of Ember, like we had like scheduling stuff, like Anissa needed to work. So I drove there the night before from Nashville to St. Louis and then did the junket and then left directly from there, had everything transcribing as I was driving back, and then drove back to cover SmackDown. Like it was like a whirlwind, and then I didn't get to stay for the event. I didn't get to watch the event. So it was just like driving back and forth. So like this time, like I actually get to like be there, do the event, and then actually go to the Rumble that night. And then I'm actually gonna get to see family because I got family in Houston. So like it's like a cool thing. So it's like all wrapped up. So I think that'll be fun. The biggest event of the year is obviously January, when Ember's birthday is her third birthday. It's very exciting. So that's the top of the year, and that's going to be great. So that's going to be the biggest thing of the year, but everything else comes in after that. Yes, I can cheer Finn Balor. And by the way, right there, Finn Balor is a bucket list interview for me. One day I will get to talk to him because he rules. He's one of my favorites. So yeah, so that was me. So I think that about covers it. Thank you all for jumping into this. It was supremely fun. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. And then we will see you on Friday. Got a fun show. I hope to talk about some things. I'll actually get to talk about Witcher because like all the embargoes are up and stuff. So we'll see what its Rotten Tomatoes score is, and then I'll probably have to defend it. so I'm right back in there. But Damon, anything you want to shout out before we go?
Shadow Agents of Fandom. So you can follow me on Twitter at Damon Tweet. You can follow me on TikTok at Damon Talks Comics, TOKS, like TikTok Talks Comics. For as long as those two platforms are still going.
Oh no, is TikTok going somewhere?
Who knows?
I just got started on that damn thing.
So addicting.
It can't go anywhere. I also need tips. I'm gonna hit you up on the side and be like, hey, I need tips how to not suck on TikTok. That is
literally the key is to have a Family Guy clip above you while you do your thing below.
That's smart. That's brilliant. I love it. Well, we will catch you guys later, and peace until next time. See you all later. Thanks, guys.